a lot of people missed this one thing shown on the screen at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. And actually, we're going to get into a ton of stuff. In this video, we have updates on Jimmy Kimmel. He's canceled. He's not canceled. He's canceled again. Apparently, we'll get into that. Apparently, a number of actors and actresses speaking out. We have Angelina Jolie as the latest one. And we're going to get into also what Don Lemon said. We have apparently our future here, my friends. Even James Cameron saying something completely ironic about what's going on. And it actually relates to this thing that was seen at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. We'll get into it in a second. Let's just get going here. We'll start here. We have apparently only limited areas that can see Jimmy Kimmel because he was canceled a second time. So if you haven't been keeping up with this whole thing, he was canceled a few days ago. Then he was uncanceled because 400 actors, celebrities spoke out, protested, whatever you want to call it. You had ABC saying, oh, okay, we'll bring him back. And so then they brought him back, but apparently that backfired because apparently Sinclair announced that it's not going to be showing the show in a number of places. Here are the cities that won't be able to watch Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, he doesn't have exactly the biggest crowd watching him in the first place. So it is kind of funny to look into this. You have here Angelina Jolie says she does not recognize America, brands it very dangerous. I love my country, but I don't, at this time, recognize my country. I've always lived internationally. Actually, let's just play what she had to say here.
It's obviously a very difficult question, only to say that I love my country, but I don't, at this time, recognize my country. And I think that's, but I've always lived internationally. My family's international, my friends, my life, my worldview is...
She doesn't even live in this country. You know, she can't recognize her own country anymore, when actually it's now starting to finally return to what it used to be when she was younger, but apparently she doesn't like that direction. You have here Nexstar joins Sinclair in pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air tonight after his lies about Charlie Kirk. Made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following the ABC referred to as Mr. Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments as a critical time in our national discourse. We stand by that decision pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue. So what's interesting about this is, of course, what are all these Hollywood actors and actresses freaking out over? I mean, other than the fact that they usually just freak out over nothing, there is a very small thing that was going on here. They were thinking that the FCC chairman was threatening to take the show off the air, and that's not actually what he was doing, according to him. He was simply saying that there will be a long, drawn-out procedure if they don't deal with this themselves. If ABC doesn't deal with this themselves, we'll have to basically look into your license, have a whole... I don't even know what they call it, not court case, but whatever they call it, some sort of review, I guess, a long drawn out review. And so at any rate, so that's kind of what's going on with that whole thing. It's just kind of weird. Obviously, considering just how out of touch a lot of these people in Hollywood are, just look at sort of the difference between their concept of gathering together over a death, in the case of George, here Floyd, compared to Charlie Kirk, where they light candles instead of lighting your building on fire instead. Obviously, you would have thought they would have spoke out way back when. Like, this isn't the country I grew up in. Apparently, the mostly peaceful stuff that was happening 5 years ago was completely normal in the eyes of a lot of people in Hollywood. Yet, apparently, burning candles in the name of someone who died in honor isn't normal. It obviously is extremely backwards. You can see it with what Don Lemon says here, where he fumes over the Christian messaging at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Says speakers quoted scripture because they were demanding submission. What we know in the arena was simply faith finding public expression. It was religious nationalism, he says, on full display. Essentially trying to chalk it up to something bad, simply showing that you have faith. Absolutely asinine what he had to say. And now he's being called out for it. What's amazing, though, is now we have a massive lineup of people who are going to be speaking on college campuses as a result of this. Speaking dates after Charlie Kirk's murder, with guests including Megyn Kelly, Vivek, and others. So you're going to be seeing a huge movement on college campuses as a result of this now, with a massive amount of people wanting to start chapters in their cities. And we're going to get into the main sort of topic of this video, which has to do with this right here. Let me see if I can show it on the screen a little bit better. There we go. Notice what was circled over here. Palantir. We're going to get into that in this video. This was advertised at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. And we got some crazy stories in that realm now. Oh my goodness, this is getting crazy. We'll get into that. They use AI. A lot of people don't even know what Palantir is. When I show you it, you're going to be surprised because it literally relates to this movie. And ironically, James Cameron just said something a few days ago that you're just not going to believe with regards to that. I'm going to show you what is going on with all of this. We're going to also get into how everyone's talking about Charlie Kirk's death and how things just don't seem to line up. We have Joe Rogan here. We're going to get into that as well. First of all, I got to mention Food Supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 4 months worth for $6.97. You're going to definitely want to get that if you have not already. You see all the wonderful things happening around us. Terminator's coming, my friends. You might want to get prepared. Never know what's next. Honestly, you never know. Link is in the description. Also, this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House as they did in the old days. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to definitely need that before the power goes out. What if you have 2-3 weeks without power? You will thank me if you get that book. $37, get the printed version. Go check out all of my social media, link below. Let's get back to the video. So we have, of course, this picture here, as I showed you, of Palantir. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people are just saying, well, look, they support the cause. They support our president. They support the VP. That's all this is. But actually, when you start looking into the company, you start to understand that the concern is not with this administration, but perhaps the next one, because of what this thing really entails. Right now, they're just using it for the migrants, but next, could it be us? And when you see what it's all about, it actually starts to look like this right here. No joke. And actually, let me just show you what I mean, because a lot of people maybe don't even understand what this company is. I asked ChatGPT, does Palantir use AI for their systems? Also, what is the synopsis of Palantir offering to the government and corporate entities? Yes, Palantir very much uses AI machine learning in its systems, and it offers a suite of products and services to both the GOV and commercial corporate entities. Here's what they do. AI-enabled systems for defense. Okay, does that sound kind of like this? It's after you finish making all the Avatar movies, James Cameron is looking back to the Terminator franchise, but is struggling to get started on the story because I don't know what to say that won't be overtaken by real events. Meaning that all his movies are coming true in this franchise. And he's kind of concerned that, like, if he keeps doing this, like, maybe there'll be another thing that comes true. For example, the U.S. Army contracted Palantir for their Titan systems, use of AI to process data for space sensors and other sources to help improve targeting in, of course, the battlefield. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that if it's being used for something good. But we know how our country is. And you've seen when you get the wrong administration or what happens. We saw it last time around. AI ML platforms. And actually, you might even say in the case of even maybe our own side, maybe some decades down the road, completely on board with this in a very bad way or nefarious way. AI ML platforms, Palantir provides. AI platform, which supports model agnostic generative AI infrastructure, multimodal guardrails for human AI teaming. Human AI teaming. So again, replacing jobs. So then you got the job factor. You've seen a lot of jobs in the tech industry already go this year. Data integration, analytics, bringing together disparate data sources, structuring them, labeling them, basically putting all the data together, particularly data that is about you or me, perhaps. We talked about the Online Safety Act, which was a month ago, and how they were doing that in the UK. And they were trying to tie your driver's license to your account so that when you're gone, you never can get a new account. Or they can label you as whatever. Oh, he's one of them, right? Like they're doing in the UK currently. I showed a video yesterday, actually a couple times. I don't even know if, I have it right here, where someone merely viewed a post on social media and was getting a visit from the police. Viewed a post, didn't write something, just viewed something. And absolutely astounding. That's what they want to do everywhere. That's what they want to do everywhere. I'm not saying our president wants to do it. That's not my point. That's not what, I don't think he wants to do that at all. But there are other people, we're talking about behind closed doors, faceless ones who seemingly want this to happen. And that's why we've been seeing some of the stuff that's been happening around us. Matter of fact, I kind of feel like the whole Charlie Kirk thing may be in potentially their plan B, because they were trying to bring in the hate, speech laws and stuff like that shortly afterwards, which of course that was squashed. But add in here, let's play this clip from Joe Rogan, where he's also asking some questions about a certain person that was there. And when you find out where else he's been, it's going to make you really wonder what the heck's going on.
There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombing.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb.
Yeah. So I don't know if he was at the Boston one marathon. I don't know if he was there, but we do have confirmation he was at the first one on September, of course, 11th, which, by the way, when did Charlie Kirk die? On the 10th. That's a little weird. I actually had Grok give me all the weird stuff this guy's been involved in. His name's George. The first guy got arrested, right? He sent some weird email to those running the Salt Lake City Marathon back in 2013, shortly after the Boston one, saying, "Hey, do you need any help putting some at the end of the finish line?" He thought it was a funny joke. It's not a joke. I don't know if he was actually at the Boston Marathon or not, but he did send an email in on 2013, shortly after the Boston one. 2019, arrest at a weird protest in Salt Lake City. In, of course, the Charlie Kirk murder, he claimed to be the one who did it. You also have the fact that he claimed to be at, New York City during September, of course, 11th. He also attended Colorado court hearing of Kobe Bryant in 2003. Apparently, he also was at potentially 1994 Rolling Stones concert, and there's some other weird ones as well. Even something back in 1989. So this guy's been all across the board on weird events that have happened in history. What's going on here? Very bizarre. Now, getting back to this whole Palantir. Who owns Palantir? Peter Thiel. And guess where Peter Thiel was earlier this year? Only 3 months ago. He went to a certain meeting, a Bilderberg meeting back then. A lot of people are not even aware of this. This is the guy running Palantir, which they're trying to get in their foot in the door. They want to use this to correlate all data on people. And this seems to tie into the whole thing with what we saw in the UK, the Online Safety Act, where they essentially want to eventually get it to where you and I can't say what we want to anymore. That's the entire point of this stuff. And I think he's one of the cogs in the wheel. This is also the guy that put on a 4-part seminar about the Antichrist. And some are wondering why he was building tools for the Antichrist. And of course, when he was asked that question, he kind of smirked and laughed. Right? So I've shown that clip before. The dude, there's something not right here. There's something very much not right with this guy. Clearly pretending to be on our side. I don't think so at all. Putting his tentacles everywhere. Putting money behind our side, hoping to get some brownie points so that he can get his foot in the door and do whatever he wants, so that later on, because of the meeting he went to, perhaps they're going to try to do something else. This is my entire point. You have also all these people that worked on AI, OpenAI founder, co-founder. I showed this before because it's so ridiculous. OpenAI co-founder wanted to build a doomsday bunker to protect company scientists from rapture. Well, I guess he doesn't have to worry now, because apparently the rapture didn't happen. It was supposed to happen yesterday or today. What was it? Someone was saying it was going to happen. I think it was supposed to happen today, or I think it was yesterday. It didn't happen. So apparently they didn't have to build a doomsday bunker for now. But I mean, just look at this headline. This is one of the guys who actually co-founded OpenAI, who actually built these AI systems. We have multiple people that worked on these AI systems coming out, saying a lot of stuff, saying, bro, we don't have much longer. This is going to be like Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger very soon here. Okay, we had this guy, another guy who worked on OpenAI, a completely different person, put out a website called AI 2027, and how basically our GOV is going to be, Palantired up here soon, which is basically literally what he's saying here. I mean, where was it? Agent 4, the superhuman AI researcher, September 2027. Super intelligence, basically put it over our military systems. It literally sounds like this movie, Terminator 2. It's insane. And this is one of the people that worked on OpenAI. And then we had, of course, I didn't even pull it up. We got Sam Altman as well. So actually, maybe I'll play this clip from JD Vance, because he admits that, yeah, Peter Thiel's put money behind him, but he says, I don't want to be influenced by that. All right, let me play this real quick. We got this one.
So it costs a lot of money to run for office, and you got to go and raise money.
Yeah.
But I think that if your attitude is, I owe something, these people gave me money, then you're going to end up being corrupted. And you've got to kind of take the attitude of, they're supporting me because they agree with me. And obviously, like, you have conversations with them. Like you mentioned Peter Thiel. I see a lot of crazy stuff on the internet about Peter Thiel. Like,
Right. Yeah. So of course, a lot of people are saying a lot of interesting things about Peter Thiel, and he's talking about that. But of course, I think there is something legitimate here. Whether or not you have a theory about him, just looking at the very simple thing of what he built and where he's been and what sort of the map is for the future. By the way, we had the largest hack of all time, cyber attack, yesterday. Was it yesterday? No. It was the largest cyber hack of all time. It was on September 18th. That's what it was. NPM supply chain attack had to do with JavaScript. Of course, a lot of people don't even have any clue about this. That just happened. And I wanted to mention about Sam Altman as well, really quickly before I go. Sam Altman, he is one of the guys who worked also on AI. He's also been brought in on all this stuff as well. And he got his money from that guy with, of course, the island. He had gotten some of his money. Check this out. Here's his picture. Look a little familiar. That is the guy right there. And he was recently asked a lot of questions by the Tuckmeister here.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys are basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
That's weird.
Also a great tragedy.
Of course, Sam Altman here says that he actually did it to himself. He wasn't murdered. And then he goes on to say this.
It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole
That's right.
medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was...
It's just a weird coincidence that he had did all those things and then, offed, of course, himself. Yeah, I don't know. That's Sam Altman, who has admitted in numerous weird articles about the future of AI and basically just tells you how it is. Like, oh yeah, it might be the end of the world, but I might as well make money while we're going there. I'm trying to remember what he said. Yeah, here we are. No, not change the world. He said, I'm pretty sure he said that. He said something funny like that. Yeah, here we are. Dude, this is so funny, dude. Well, it's not funny, actually, because it's like reality and what could easily happen. And he just says it and people still hire him anyways. It makes no sense. This is from CNN Business. Sam Altman warns AI could kill us all, but he still wants the world to use it. Oh, yeah, he wants to make money while we're going there. Hey, might as well have fun while we're going to the end, just in case the rapture don't get us first, you got Terminator coming. Yeah, at any rate. So I'm completely joking here. Well, actually, I'm not totally joking, but you know what I'm saying. At any rate, that's my video. I just thought it was kind of weird that it's always these type of companies, they get their tentacles in there. They start saying the nice things to our VP and our president. Oh, you're such a great guy. I agree with you. And they don't agree at all. They just want to get their tentacles in there. Just like we saw with that meeting with all the tech giants. Had a dinner with them. Our president had a dinner with them, and they're all complimenting him. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Yeah. Of course, that's what they're going to do, right? Of course, because they want to get their foot in the door. And it makes you wonder, what is our future? Hopefully, it's a much brighter than that. Hopefully, it's much better than that. Kind of wonder what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.